Diana and Sue and Rebecca and all of those, Dawn Staley as a player. Where does it go? Can it continue to climb, and will it climb on the back of now Paige Beckers?
Caitlin Clark, the star of basketball, recently dropped a jaw-dropping revelation. She was offered an incredible $1 million contract by a top-tier league. But here's the kicker, she rejected it without hesitation. Now, the league is scrambling, realizing they just lost their biggest potential marketing superstar. What a twist.
She'll be the biggest female star ever because she can pull up from the parking lot.
She is a killer. She is stone cold.
Caitlin, man, she's a phenomenon.
She's the best female collegiate player ever.
Caitlin Clark is capable of magical things.
She is the most prolific scorer in the history of college basketball.
Kobe Bryant with a ponytail.
It is just awesome watching what she is doing and what she represents.
Her game speaks for itself.
She can just flat out play. When you can shoot,
But let's be real, Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's playing the whole sports industry like a pro. She doesn't need a controversial lead to stay in the spotlight. Yet here we are, with everyone asking the same burning question. Why did she say no? Why walk away from a deal worth twice from WNBA earnings? Was it arrogance, or is there something bigger behind her decision?
When questioning the Caitlin Clark effect, we now have people wanting to watch golf because of her. We saw the kind of offer that Ice Cube made to Caitlin to play in the Big Three. That is $5 million to play three.
Before diving into the reasons, let's clear something up. Caitlin Clark didn't turn down the $1 million offer because she's lazy, unmotivated, or afraid of a challenge. She turned it down because she knows her worth, and she's not settling for anything less. This isn't arrogance, it's self-awareness. Caitlin understands her value, and for her, the unrivaled league, while innovative for women's sports, simply didn't meet her standards. Think about it, Caitlin Clark just came off a year where she redefined what it means to be a star athlete. She didn't just play basketball, she elevated the sport. Her presence alone propelled the WNBA to record-breaking levels in viewership, ticket sales, and merchandise revenue. She made women's basketball a focal point like never before. Her jaw-dropping performances with the Indiana Fever didn't just revive a struggling franchise. They turned it into a legitimate contender. Caitlin doesn't just play. She transforms everything around her. That's her impact, not just on the court, but on the entire sport. So while the $1 million deal for 9 weeks of 3v3 basketball might sound impressive, for someone like Caitlin, it barely scratches the surface of her true value.
I'm so happy for her to get the 28 flipping million.
Now, let's talk about the unrivaled league for a moment. On paper, it sounds like a dream. Short seasons, big paychecks, and a fresh format aimed at shaking things up. But here's the reality, Caitlin Clark has nothing to prove in what's essentially a glorified exhibition league. The 3v3 format might be fun to watch, but it's not her stage. Caitlin shines in full court battles, under the brightest lights, competing against the world's best players. She's not about to waste her time on something that doesn't align with her goals. Her focus is crystal clear, leading her team to a WNBA championship, growing women's basketball on a global scale, and building a legacy that goes far beyond the sport itself. Caitlin isn't here for sideshows, she's here to make history.
Clark snags another honor. She's made the Forbes 30 under 30 list. Clark, who is just 22 years old, is the only professional women's basketball player on this list.
Let's not pretend the unrivaled league's $1 million offer was purely out of generosity. Sure, they boast about offering the highest average salaries in women's sports, but Caitlin Clark wasn't just another player. They saw her as a marketing goldmine. League president Alex Bazell even called her an outlier who brings numbers. Translation: we need you to make this league relevant. Without Caitlin, the unrivaled league is just a shiny experiment missing its brightest star. Caitlin's decision wasn't just personal, it was a statement. She's showing the world she refuses to be reduced to a gimmick. The WNBA may already underpay her with a 4-year, $338,500 contract, but a flashy 3v3 league isn't the answer. Caitlin Clark isn't here for novelties. She's here to dominate, inspire, and lead on her terms.
Than the NBA, so I was like, oh, what's she gonna get paid? Because finally, you can get get a real paycheck. And then I saw it, and I was like, this can't be right, because this is what it is. In the first year, Caitlin Clark will earn $76,535.
Let's not overlook the real power move here. By turning down the $1 million, Caitlin Clark has proven that her worth goes far beyond a paycheck. She's already earning more from endorsements than she could from playing in the WNBA or the Unrivaled League. Brands like Nike, Gatorade, and Beats by Dre are lining up for a reason. They see what some leagues fail to grasp. Caitlin isn't just the future of women's basketball. She's breaking barriers across the entire sports world. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon. As for her reasoning, on the surface, Caitlin said she turned down the offer to prioritize rest. It's a diplomatic answer, sure, but let's be real, there's more to the story.
She doesn't need to play for that whack job. She should just buy a rivalry. Exactly. Kayla gives that type of bag. Sissy probably isn't this vindictive, but if it was me, if they wanted me outside, I'll demand a full retraction and apology from Gino for his comments on the Dan Patrick Show, which we'll get to that in a hot second.
The truth is, Caitlin Clark has been running on fumes for years. From grueling NCAA games and heartbreaking championship losses to the WNBA draft and leading the Indiana Fever to their best season in nearly a decade, she's more than earned the right to take a break. But let's not kid ourselves. Rest isn't the only reason behind her decision. Caitlin knows her time is better spent gearing up for the 2025 season, where her focus is on bigger goals, like winning a championship, something the Unrivaled League simply can't offer. Meanwhile, both the WNBA and the Unrivaled League are left scrambling. Caitlin's absence is a glaring reminder that they need her far more than she needs them. They've built marketing campaigns around her, celebrated her as the face of the sport, and yet they can't seem to meet her where it matters most. A $1 million contract might sound generous, but for someone of Caitlin's caliber, it's not about the money, it's about respect. By turning it down, she sent a clear message. I know my worth, and it's a lot more than what you're offering.
So Gino Auriemma talked about Caitlin Clark again.
Caitlin Clark's decision also shines a light on a much bigger issue, the ongoing fight for fair compensation in women's sports. For far too long, female athletes have been forced to choose between pursuing their passion and achieving financial security. Caitlin's choice to turn down the offer isn't just about her, it's a bold challenge to the system. She's forcing leagues, sponsors, and decision-makers to rethink how they value women athletes. Because here's the truth. If you want the best, you have to offer more than just money. You need to provide opportunities, respect, and genuine recognition. The Unrivaled League dangled over $1 million in front of Caitlin for just 10 weeks of basketball in sunny Miami this January, hoping she'd become the face of their ambitious new venture. On paper, it looked like the ultimate win-win, one of the biggest contracts in women's sports history, but Caitlin Clark didn't bite. Instead, she said, "No, thank you."
If you're a college player and you're a great college player, like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP at the WNBA.
This wasn't just any offer, it was a carefully crafted pitch aimed at landing a superstar. The Unrivaled League, co-founded by WNBA legends Nneka Ogwumike, Nafisa Collier, and Brianna Stewart, was built to shake up professional basketball. High salaries, a short season, and a fan-friendly 3x3 format. It's a dream for many players. But Caitlin Clark isn't just any player. She's the kind of talent that leagues dream of signing. Even league president Alex Bazell admitted, anyone in our shoes would 100% want Caitlin. Why? Because she's not just a player, she's an outlier, a game changer who brings unmatched numbers and attention. To put it into perspective, Clark isn't just a basketball player, she's an event. Her incredible passing, insane court vision, and jaw-dropping three-point range make her a perfect fit for the fast-paced 3x3 style. She's a unique hybrid of speed, precision, and range, faster than most realize and capable of shooting from deep, stretching the court to its limits. Bazell himself said in an interview with Sarah Spain on * Good Game * that Clark's addition would have immediately elevated the league's credibility.
Reese spoke to the media. She didn't speak to the media after the game against Caitlin.
Let's be real here. It's not just about rest. Caitlin Clark turned down that $1 million offer because she knows her worth is far beyond what they were offering. The Unrivaled League wasn't throwing her a lifeline, they were starting the conversation. They wanted Caitlyn not just for her skills on the court, but because she's a marketing powerhouse. She's a star who draws crowds, sells tickets, and boosts viewership. In fact, the league even considered offering her a Messi-style deal, tying her pay to the league's growth. But Caitlyn's value isn't measured in dollars, it's measured by her impact. At just 22, she's already changed the game. The Unrivaled League will carry on without her, but it won't be the same. The WNBA will continue to benefit from her presence, but they'll need to step up their game if they want to keep her long-term. As for Caitlyn, she'll keep doing what she does best, proving everyone wrong and making history along the way. Because when you're Caitlyn Clark, greatness is the only option.
She'll be the biggest female star ever because she can pull up from the parking lot.
She is a killer. She is stone cold.
Caitlyn, man, she's a phenomenon.
She's the best female collegiate player ever.
Caitlyn Clark is capable of magical things.
She is the most prolific scorer in the history of college basketball.
Kobe Bryant with a ponytail.
It is just awesome watching what she is doing and what she represents.
Her game speaks for itself.
She can just flat out play. When you can shoot that.
If you're a college player and you're a great college player, like Caitlyn was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP of the WNBA.
In fact, the league even considered offering her a Messi-style deal, tying her pay to the league's growth. But Caitlyn's value isn't measured in dollars, it's measured by her impact. At just 22, she's already changed the game. The Unrivaled League will carry on without her, but it won't be the same. The WNBA will continue to benefit from her presence, but they'll need to step up their game if they want to keep her long-term. As for Caitlyn, she'll keep doing what she does best, proving everyone wrong and making history along the way. Because when you're Caitlyn Clark, greatness is the only option.